Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me question everything. Story 1. My mom destroyed my graduation day over my brother's naked habits. So my mom just destroyed what should have been the best day of my life because I wouldn't let my 14-year-old brother walk around naked anymore. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm an 18-year-old guy who just graduated high school, and instead of celebrating, I'm here questioning if I'm the problem. Let me back up and explain this mess. My family has always been dysfunctional. There's constant fighting, usually between my sister and mom, and my dad's gone half the time for work. But I was determined to make graduation day special, you know. I was singing in the shower, pumped up, ready to celebrate this milestone. Then I walk out and immediately get dragged into drama about finding my sister's dress. Turns out she'd lost it, probably when I cleaned her disaster of a room a month ago. But here's where it gets weird. 2 days before graduation, I came home to find my brother just lying on his bed completely naked with his door wide open. Now, he's done this since he was little, and I never really cared because he was just a kid. But he's almost 15 now, and I have friends over sometimes. It's getting uncomfortable. So I told him he needed to start closing his door or wearing clothes. Seems reasonable, right? Well, my mom completely lost it. She started screaming that I was being mean to my brother, that he should be comfortable in his own home, and that I was causing problems. I tried to explain that he's getting older and it's just basic decency, especially when we have company. But she wouldn't hear it. The fighting escalated, and by graduation day, the whole house was in chaos. My mom was giving me the silent treatment, my brother was sulking, and my sister was stressed about her dress. What should have been my day became all about this ridiculous family drama. During the actual ceremony, my mom barely acknowledged my achievement. No proud photos, no celebration dinner, nothing. She was too busy babying my brother and acting like I'd committed some horrible crime by asking for basic boundaries. The worst part is, I know other families where this would be a non-issue. Most parents would actually support teaching their teenage son about appropriate behavior and respecting others' comfort. But in my house, I'm the villain for not wanting my nearly 15-year-old brother walking around naked. I've tried talking to my dad about it, but he's always traveling and doesn't want to deal with family drama when he's home. So it's just me against my mom's bizarre protective instincts. I love my brother, I really do. I'm not trying to shame him or make him feel bad about his body. I just think there's a time and place for everything, and walking around naked at almost 15 with your door open isn't appropriate anymore. But according to my mom, I'm destroying his self-confidence and being a terrible brother. Now my graduation, which should have been this amazing milestone, is just another reminder of how messed up my family dynamics are. Instead of celebrating my achievements and looking forward to college, I'm stuck wondering if I'm really the problem here. Am I wrong for thinking a 14-year-old should have some basic modesty, especially around family and potential guests? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I stole my ex's cats and now they want them back. So I technically stole my boyfriend's brother's cats, and now 4 years later they want them back, but here's the thing, I think I saved these cats' lives. Let me tell you this wild story that started with a midnight phone call and turned into a 4-year custody battle. 4 years ago, my partner's brother Max, who's 50, decided to dump his 2 cats at the pound because his 14-year-old developed allergies. Just like that, these cats who'd been part of the family were suddenly homeless. But then in the middle of the night, we get this frantic call from Max's family. Apparently the kids were absolutely devastated about losing their cats, but when they tried to get them back from the pound, they were refused. The pound has policies about people who surrender animals, you know. So Max's family begged us to officially adopt the cats and then give them back. We agreed to help, went through the whole adoption process, and returned the cats to Max's family. But guess what? The allergy situation didn't magically improve. The kid was still suffering, and it became clear this wasn't going to work. So my partner and I made the decision to keep the cats ourselves permanently. These aren't just any cats, we're talking about animals who'd already been traumatized by being abandoned once. We gave them a stable, loving home where they've been thriving for 4 years. We've paid for all their vet bills, food, toys, everything. We've been their real parents while Max's family moved on with their lives. But now, out of nowhere, they want the cats back. The kids' allergies have supposedly improved, and they think they can handle having pets again. They're acting like I should just hand over these cats like they're borrowed books or something. But here's what they don't understand, these cats are family to us now. They know our routines, they sleep in our bed, they've bonded with us completely. We've invested thousands of dollars in their care and years of love. Plus, what happens if the allergies flare up again? Are they just going to dump them at the pound for a second time? I don't think so. The family is getting increasingly pushy about it, saying the cats technically belong to them since they were the original owners. But legally, I adopted these cats. I have all the paperwork. More importantly, I've been their caretaker for 4 years, longer than the original family even had them. My partner is caught in the middle because it's his family, but he agrees that the cats are better off with us. We can provide consistent care, we don't have anyone with allergies, and we've proven our commitment. The original family had their chance and chose to give up when things got difficult. I feel like they're treating these living creatures like objects they can reclaim whenever convenient. What really bothers me is the assumption that just because they want them back now, I should disrupt these cats' entire lives again. They've been through enough upheaval already. Now here I am, being painted as the villain for refusing to give up pets I've loved and cared for longer than their original family did. Am I really wrong for wanting to protect these cats from potentially being abandoned again? Story 3. I snitched on a student cheater and her mom brought up real project. So a helicopter mom just tried to completely bypass my grading system by bringing in a professional-level science project, claiming her kid did it at home, and I had to shut that down hard. As a middle school teacher, I thought I'd seen everything, but this one really takes the cake. 2 weeks ago, my students had their final science project on ecosystem models. Pretty standard stuff, build a simple model showing how plants, animals, water, and food chains connect. But here's the key part, the main rule was that projects had to be done mostly in class. I wanted to see what the kids actually understood, not what their parents could build for them. One of my students turned in exactly what I expected, a hurried shoebox model with handwritten labels and basic information. It looked like what a middle schooler would create in the time given. Not perfect, but it showed his understanding of the concepts. I gave him a C, which was fair for the effort and knowledge demonstrated. But then, 3 days later, his mom storms into my classroom with this elaborate, professional-looking ecosystem model. I'm talking perfect lighting, typed information cards, complex food webs, everything arranged like a museum display. She's insisting this is the real project her son did at home and demanding I change his grade. I had to explain that this wasn't how it works. First, the project was supposed to be done in class specifically to avoid this situation. Second, this elaborate model was clearly beyond middle school level work. The research depth, presentation quality, and construction complexity screamed adult involvement, if not complete adult creation. The mom got increasingly aggressive, claiming I was being unfair and that her son had worked really hard on this home version. She said he deserves a better grade and threatened to take it to the principal. But here's the thing, accepting this project would completely undermine the educational purpose and be unfair to every other student who followed the rules. I stood my firm and explained that grades reflect the student's demonstrated understanding during the assigned time, not what can be produced at home with unlimited resources and potential parental help. The original C grade would stand. Well, she absolutely lost it. Started yelling about how I don't appreciate student effort and that I'm holding her son back academically. She stormed off to the principal's office, dragging this elaborate project with her. Fortunately, my principal backed me up completely. They understood that the whole point of in-class projects is assessment authenticity. But now I'm dealing with angry emails from the parents and hearing through other parents that they're bad-mouthing me around school. The thing is, this isn't about being mean to the kid. His original project showed he grasped the basic concepts, which is exactly what I needed to see. The C was an honest reflection of his work and understanding. Changing it because mom brought in a professional-level project would teach completely the wrong lesson about effort, honesty, and academic integrity. Plus, imagine how unfair it would be to the students who actually followed directions and accepted their grades without parental intervention. But now I'm questioning if I should have handled it differently. Maybe I could have found some middle ground or been more diplomatic. The family is making me out to be this inflexible villain who doesn't care about student success. Am I really being unreasonable by sticking to the original assignment parameters and grading what the student actually produced in class? Story 4. My best friend showed up wasted to my 18th birthday. So my best friend showed up completely hammered to my 18th birthday party and I had to kick her out, but now everyone's telling me I ruined our friendship over nothing. I spent months planning this party, you know. It wasn't huge, mainly family and close friends because I was planning a separate friend group celebration later. I wanted this one to be special and classy since it was my official transition into adulthood. When my best friend arrived at my front door, she could barely walk in a straight line. She was stumbling, slurring her words, clearly drunk off her ass before the party even started. Now look, I totally expected we'd have some drinks that night, it's an 18th birthday party. But showing up already wasted? That wasn't the vibe I was going for at all. I pulled her aside privately and asked if she wanted to go home or maybe drink some water and coffee to sober up a bit. I was trying to be understanding, you know. Maybe she was nervous about the party or dealing with something personal. I offered to help her get settled and suggested we could talk about whatever was going on. But instead of being grateful or apologetic, she got really defensive. Started telling me I was being dramatic and that she was fine to party. She was loud about it too, and people were starting to notice. My family members were giving me looks, and I could see my other friends getting uncomfortable with the situation. I tried explaining that I just wanted everyone to have a good time safely, and that included her. But she kept getting more belligerent, saying I was being a controlling birthday girl and that she came to celebrate with me. The thing is, she wasn't in any condition to celebrate anything. She was sloppy drunk and getting worse by the minute. Finally, I had to make the call to ask her to leave. It felt awful doing it, but she was disrupting the party I'd worked so hard to plan. My family was there, including younger cousins, and having someone that intoxicated around just wasn't appropriate for the occasion I wanted. She absolutely exploded when I asked her to go. Started yelling about how I was a terrible friend, how she'd never forgive me, all this dramatic stuff. My dad actually had to help escort her out because she was making such a scene. It was embarrassing and heartbreaking all at once. The rest of the party was great, but I kept thinking about her and feeling guilty. Part of me wondered if I should have just let it slide and dealt with whatever chaos followed. Maybe I could have kept a closer eye on her or asked someone else to help manage the situation. Now, weeks later, mutual friends are saying I overreacted. They think I should have been more understanding since it was a party and people drink at parties. Some are acting like I'm this uptight person who cares more about appearances than friendship. But here's what they don't understand, this wasn't about judging her for drinking. It was about her showing up in a state that was going to ruin the celebration for everyone else. I had family there, people of all ages, and I wanted it to be memorable for the right reasons. I feel like asking someone to leave when they're disrupting your birthday party isn't unreasonable, especially when you try to handle it quietly first. But now I'm losing sleep wondering if I destroyed a friendship over something I could have managed differently. Was I wrong to prioritize my party over accommodating my friend's poor decision? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.